Coming up, you don't have to travel to Yosemite to have a fun rock climbing experience here in South Florida because Pompano has what you need. This Mexican restaurant's menu has changed for the healthier thanks to its owner's health journey. Speaking of health journey, all of these health experts can help you with yours.
All that and more say on SoFlo Health. I'm doing all right. Hello and welcome to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and yes, that's also me, Hunter Frankie, bouldering this wall. What the heck is bouldering? Well, we'll get to that in just a second. The idea of today's show is to encourage you to get out and get moving, and not every workout has to be preparing for a marathon or lifting weight. You could be bouldering like we are today, playing pickleball, or just going for a simple walk. The idea is to just get moving. So while I boulder that wall, you're going to listen to Anthony Villarino to find out more about bouldering. Great job.
Boulder Block is a brand new premier bouldering exclusive gym in South Florida. We have over 25 different sets of climbs available at any given time. They get refreshed twice a week, and this is where people who really want to get serious about the sport of bouldering come to improve in that sport. Bouldering is still rock climbing, but without any safety equipment or ropes or harnesses, with the exception of like a safety mat at the bottom, like an impact mat, where you're climbing up a problem and either you get to the top and come off the other side, or you fall and do it again. So Nathan's on our trad wall. It's a treadmill, but as a rock climbing wall. And the idea is there's a few different options for what you want to climb, and you can set the incline or the pace of it. There's a computer that'll monitor the distance that you've climbed, as well as the pace that you're making and the time in total. People refer to a problem as a route when you're climbing, or a specific set of moves that you're trying to figure out while you're climbing. Like, problem is just the general term in the climbing community used for that. The setting is really, really cool, and everybody in the community is very welcoming and supportive and willing to provide constructive insight and feedback so that everybody's trying to get better.
We'll be right back here at Boulder Block to start climbing later on in the show.
This is Dr. Alan Stewart. We are at Mercy Hospital celebrating the 100th anniversary of the American Heart Association, and we're talking about, you guessed it, heart health. Doctor, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure.
When it comes to the heart, as a heart surgeon, what do you want people to do to take care of their heart?
The goal really for me is to say, well, how do people not ever need heart surgery, and how can they live either before they had it? And it initially got into an interest for me because I would want to encourage people after they had surgery to use that as a reset button and say, well, how do you live from this point going forward to never needing anything again? Or to use this as a wake-up call and say, well, how can I turn my bad habits around at this stage and live the best life I can after I had an operation?
And what are some of those habits that people can change today, no matter who they are?
So no matter who you are, I mean, the first thing I would tell you is don't smoke. And that includes cigarettes, cigars, vaping. They're all bad for you because they all cause inflammation.
Lifestyle changes. You're in great shape. You exercise clearly. Where does that play a role in our heart health?
So exercise is really the most important aspect of heart health for a variety of reasons. One is increasing the efficiency of your heart. Your heart needs to squeeze a certain amount of blood out per minute. If you can do that in less of a heart rate, it means your heart's working better. It means your heart's stronger.
Stress. What role does stress play on our heart?
Stress plays a huge role on the heart. For one is that it increases a hormone called cortisol. And what cortisol does is that it increases that body inflammation and that visceral fat. I mean, our whole goal is not to just exist for 80 years, it's to be healthy, to be able to run around after your grandchildren and be able to participate in family activities. I've got young kids and I'm in my 50s, so for me, I need to be alive and an active participant for the next 25 years or so. So the only way to do that is by living healthy.
Doctor, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, and thank you to the American Heart Association.
Of course.
Come right back to learn some bouldering basics when SoFlo Health returns.
Focusing on you. Innovations in modern medicine from your team of experts at UHealth, the University of Miami Health System.
Alan Shima loves singing in church, but a recent trip to the ER put the music on pause.
they said, we notice you have a blockage here at 90%.
Alan had carotid stenosis. Dr. Arash Bornak, a vascular surgeon who specializes in carotid disease at UHealth, says a blockage in the carotid artery can lead to stroke.
When these fatty deposits over many years progress, they form plaque, and that results in narrowing of your carotids. At some point, if the narrowing becomes severe enough, that can cause basically a stroke or stroke-like symptoms.
UHealth is uniquely positioned to treat patients with all types of carotid artery disease. Because of the location of Alan's blockage, Dr. Bornak performed a highly specialized procedure called TCAR.
Transcarotid artery respiration, or TCAR, and that's done through a small incision over the base of the neck. Basically reverse the blood flow up from the base of the neck up to your brain, and we jail the plaque that could potentially have caused a stroke in the future.
I'm in good hands, and I know this is going to be great.
After TCAR, Alan's risk of stroke dropped to less than 1%. He says thanks to Dr. Bornak, he hasn't missed a beat.
That made all the difference in the world for me.
Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie. This is Nathan, and we're still at Boulder Block, and I'm finally going to get on the wall and actually learn to climb. I've climbed before, Nathan, but what do I need to know about bouldering?
So one of the key tenets to climbing is going to be efficiency.
Okay.
Right? So as you get into higher difficulties, you're going to need to follow these kind of rules that I'm going to teach you so that you can maximize your energy output.
So where do I go on here?
All right, so the way our gym works is we've got these tags. These tags are actually going to indicate the difficulty. All right, so green is our easiest color difficulty. This white washer is going to indicate what we call a split start. So that means there's going to be 2 separate holds to start.
Yeah.
So we've got 1 and 2.
So quick recap, compared to climbing with a rope, you have that sense of safety. I don't feel unsafe here, but you certainly, once you reach about 10 feet, your body's kind of like, whoa, what's going on? It's challenging, it's fun, makes you want to do it again. In fact, I'm ready to do it again. So where am I going next?
All right, let's move on to the next route.
So what's next?
All right, so we're gonna jump on this yellow climb. A little bit trickier with the movement,
Okay.
but it's really gonna be a little bit of a bump up in difficulty.
Okay, great.
And so these big geometric shapes that you see on the wall,
Okay.
these are kind of like a wild card on the wall. So you can use them at any point. You can put feet, hands, whatever you need, use these, like I said, as kind of like a wild card. And I'm just kind of giving you that as a hint because that's what's going to make
I'm
that
gonna need it.
Yes, that's what's going to make it a little tricky.
All right, great. Now, I'm sure our producer brought the GoPro.
One eternity later.
As I said, the producer brought the GoPro. So I'm gonna, you can watch me. Well, hello, there I am, there we are. All right, and while I start heading up this wall, I know somebody at home right now is wondering, well, why does he have to stick to the yellow? Why can't he just use the purple and the black along the way?
That is an excellent question, just because it helps you to practice certain types of movements. It also helps you to train for outdoor climbing, because outdoor climbing, you're only going to have a certain amount of options for each climb or each movement.
That was a lot more challenging at like 2 specific points. And in fact, it was almost easier using this because it feels like such a solid base.
Yes.
But then as soon as I get away from that, and having tiny little spots, I gotta say, I got a little shook at this last bit here. And then when you're like, oh yeah, I made it, now you have to figure your way down, which is fine, but it presents a new challenge, which I like a lot.
Yeah.
But I hear you have just one more challenge for me.
Yes, we've got one more challenge. So you have bested 2 of our starting climbs. Let's go ahead and move on to the 3rd one.
All right, let's do it. Follow us. All right, Nathan. This wall is already at an angle, so what do I need to know for this?
All right, so this one Straight arms is, again, going to be extremely important. Yeah, so this is about a 20-degree angle, so it looks not very steep when you're standing a little bit of a distance away from it, but as soon as you come up on it, you start to lean back and say, oh, okay, that's
I'm already
really
starting in a position where I'm kind of falling.
And so we're gonna be doing this green climb. One of the key tenets that I wanna kind of keep in your mind is gonna be that straight arms.
Okay.
It's gonna be even more important because now that you're at an angle, you're gonna have that much more difficulty when you're pulling up. Oh, there it is. Easy enough.
A little dramatic for television, but nonetheless. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Wow. Going from under to over to up and then back down. It's only 15 feet, but I gotta say it's a 15 feet you won't forget.
Yes, absolutely.
That's for sure. Well, I am going to continue with SoFlo Health. We'll be back here to wrap up the show in just a little while. So keep watching SoFlo Health. Nathan, thank you so much.
Absolutely, it was an honor.
Yeah, man. I'm at the Jose Milton Memorial Hospital at Jackson West Medical Center, here to meet with Flavia of the Jackson Health Foundation to find out more about a new initiative they're launching with the ultimate goal of providing more and better health care to the people of South Florida. So let's go meet Flavia. As promised, this is Flavia of Jackson Health Foundation. Flavia, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you have a new initiative. What is it?
Our new initiative is One Day for Jackson, and it's the first time that we're doing a community day of giving to benefit the entire healthcare system. Jackson is here for the community 365 days out of the year, so for one day we're asking the community to be here for Miami-Dade's only public healthcare system.
Wow. And how can people get involved? How can they help?
There's so many different ways for folks to get involved. They can clearly visit our website and make a donation, onedayforjackson.org. They can text to give. They can text the word Jackson to 41444. And when they visit our website, they can see all of the different activities and partners that we have in that week and on that day, like the Marlins game on April 2nd, the Miami Heat game on April the 4th, and many retailers like Sweet Green, Five Guys, Shake Shack, all of them giving back a portion of the proceeds to Jackson on that week and on that day.
Supporting Jackson is always such a great thing. And people that are interested in doing that, one more time, how can they do that?
They can do that by visiting our website at onedayforjackson.org or texting the word Jackson to 41444.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for your time. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Yep, you got it.
Mexican food with a healthy twist thanks to a health-conscious owner is after the break on SoFlo Health. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and this is owner of Rocco's Tacos, Rocco Mangel. We recently spoke about his journey with multiple sclerosis and his support for Walk MS. Today, we're continuing that conversation to see how that journey has inspired changes in his menu. So, Rocco, what are we looking at?
We're looking at Rocco's Tacos.
Yes.
We've got the tableside world famous guacamole. It's a staple item here at Rocco's. We have our fresh made corn tortilla chips. We have our shrimp matcha tacos. This is the simple skirt steak with avocado and sweet potato. Very healthy option. You could get this two ways on the menu. And then you have a seafood molcajete with scallops, shrimp, fresh mahi, and a tomato, caper, and olive broth.
Wonderful. It all smells amazing, looks amazing. We'll dive in here in just a bit. We were here a few years ago, and we shared the healthy options you had then. Since then, it seems that you have even more healthy options. What was the inspiration for that?
I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2015, and I kind of learned about the disease and what different foods do to the body and how you can eat your way in or out of different types of inflammation. And then obviously as the world evolves, there's people with different types of allergies, celiac disease and some of the other things. So being that Rocco's is a family-friendly, fun place, we didn't want to discriminate against anybody. We want to make sure that everybody has something to eat when they come here.
for those that aren't aware, multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease, and it affects people differently. And you
Yes.
kind of have to really do a lot of learning about yourself and your specific needs, but they have some commonalities like reducing inflammation and things like that. What have you learned that you'd like to share with people that are maybe just now discovering they have MS or that have been dealing with it for a while?
So the most important thing is to listen to your doctor. Anything that I'm going to mention is just the suggestion.
Sure.
Because to your point, MS is a snowflake disease. There's no two people that are alike, and I've listened to my doctors. I've got a great doctor in New York. I'll give him a shout out, Dr. Sadiq at Tisch, and he's put me on a program once a month. I have an infusion, and I just follow the doctor's orders, and I par for the course. I exercise first thing in the morning. I eat healthy. All of these things here would be something I'd eat. I eat gluten-free. You know, exercising on the days that I don't want to exercise makes me feel better than anything. So like pushing myself forward to get through the next goal is what helps me the most with MS.
Well, I'd love to continue this conversation, but I feel like we should dive in here now and get some food.
So I think we should start with the seafood molcajete with the gluten-free corn tortillas. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna use my hand.
Get in there.
Right, everything's made fresh, almost farm to table.
Nice.
And then simply take a little bit or a lot. So I grabbed some shrimp, hope you don't mind.
Not at all.
And one scallop, put it on there. I put a little dash of sour cream on there for myself. Ready?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Veracruz, you know?
It's like not quite a fajita, not quite a taco, it's its own thing, but it's still that traditional Mexican feeling. The corn tortilla, love it. All right, Rocco, well, thank you so much. This is amazing. We've got some damage to do here, and we'll see you in just a bit.
Thank you.
There's a new addition to the Mount Sinai Medical Center team. Her name is Dr. Fiddler, and she's here to take care of your knees and hips. So let's head inside, meet her, and learn more. I'm now joined by Dr. Fiddler here at Mount Sinai Medical Center. Doctor, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
And I hear you're new in town, so welcome.
Thank you.
And tell me, what are your credentials? Where do you come from? Tell us about it.
Yeah. I'm originally from southern Wisconsin, so kind of moved all over the place for my training and education. I did undergrad in upstate New York at Cornell University, and then got my master's in public health at Columbia University in New York City, and then ultimately started down here as a hip and knee replacement orthopedic surgeon.
And why orthopedic surgery specifically?
Orthopedic surgery was the specialty that I chose because I truly felt like everything that I did, I could actually make a difference in a patient's life.
What do people come to see you for?
Primarily a hip and knee replacement specialist. So I typically see patients who have arthritis, what we call avascular necrosis, or dysplasia of their hip and or their knee.
You have a lovely demeanor. What would you say to somebody who's afraid to go see you or afraid to go see a specialist because they're like, I don't know, like, it's been bothering me a long time, but maybe it's gonna be worse after the fact?
And the patient that's most anxious to come and see me thinks that the only thing I'm gonna offer them is surgery when I could offer so many other things. And then ultimately we would have that relationship should a surgery be recommended in the future.
So the good news is that not only are you trying to avoid surgery in the first place, but if you do have to have surgery, it's getting far more successful, more accurate, and less recovery time for the patient.
Yes, yeah. And I think another thing we can offer patients that I think is unique is our affiliation with Columbia University for our patients is this sort of outlet or connection to an Ivy League university up in New York City.
Right, so patients here in South Florida don't have to make a special trip up to New York to access these resources. They have them right here with you.
You got it.
Great. Well, if people would like to find out more about you, how can they?
I'm primarily based in Aventura, and that's typically where I see most of my patients. I have a post-op clinic down at the Miami Beach location, and I operate at the Miami Beach location. But for more information and to book an appointment, our website is the best place to find us.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and we're wrapping up our day here at Boulder Block with the treadmill for rock climbing, which is kind of unbelievable when I think about it. As soon as I let go of my foot towards the bottom here, as you see, it stops, and then when my foot comes up, we keep going. Pretty cool. So we hope this inspired you to either try out bouldering, rock climbing, or just to get out and get moving in some other fashion that's not just being in a gym or going for a run. That's all we have for this week's episode of SoFlo Health. So thank you so much for watching. As always, you can watch previous episodes of SoFlo Health on SoFloShows.com. You can also follow us using @SoFlo Health to share with us what you're doing to stay healthy. Until next week, it's goodbye, good health, and good grief, is this a workout?
Next week on SoFlo Health, a beautiful wellness workspace, fast Ferraris, and fresh food. We'll see you then.